To me, National Girls and Women's in Sports Day is really a celebration of where we've been and truly where we're going. I'm a product of being a former student athlete, but really being a female administrator working in collegiate athletics now is really because of all of the women that have paved a way for me, and it's my job to keep that door open, and let's make sure we celebrate it. Who inspires me? My mama. I come from a strong line of women that have definitely made sure that there was some tough love, and I had a strong background and knew, where my moral compass was. But when I started in collegiate athletics, I worked for a woman that had been in the industry forever, and she truly was a product of Title IX that had every job under the sun. She worked in the equipment room, and she was a coach, and she was an administrator. And she really took me under her wing, and her name was Joanne Andrigg. She's since retired. But really my time at St. Thomas coming into this industry and coming into collegiate sports really helped show me how hard she had to work for where she was, and really gave me a lot of gratitude and perspective to make sure that I appreciate where I am and know that it wasn't for the work of many before me. I wouldn't be where I am today without Title IX. As a former student athlete, I grew up actually playing boys high school hockey because there wasn't opportunities. That since has changed. But then, having the opportunity to play on a women's team in college, I played ice hockey for 4 years in college, and then really having a voice and a seat at the table as I climbed the ranks as an athletic administrator and being an SWA and now ultimately an athletic director. That would not be the case if it weren't for Title IX. Being a former student athlete, I think I draw on those experiences and those life lessons every day, and being in a leadership role on a campus, and really the ability to understand what our young people are going through. Life looks a lot different, especially post-COVID, but it's the aspect of being resilient and coming back and knowing that failure or a loss isn't always, the end result, right? There are lessons in that are embedded, that sometimes we have to peel back the layers and say, okay, this is gonna give me some character and some life experience that I'm gonna draw on later in life. It might be difficult, but really the ability to connect with our young people and watch them grow on that journey from 18 to 22, and see what great things they do in the world is pretty impactful. I laugh because this is not where I thought I was going to end up. I thought when I was in high school, I was afforded the opportunity to be introduced to sport and the business side of sport, in particular in hockey. I started my career in pro sports. I started my career working in the NHL and the NFL. And then I kind of said, hey, what about this collegiate space? Let me explore this a little bit better. So I never set out to be an athletic director. My path is kind of carved day by day as I commit myself to the work that I do, but really I found a lot of meaning in the work that I get to do, and watching young people grow, developing our coaches, developing our student athletes, because that develops me just as much, and that's really what fills my cup, is to see the success that these people achieve, whether it's professional, whether it's personal, whatever is important to them and however they measure success. It's the ability to come back and say, wow, that was pretty special that I got to share that moment of your life with you. I think the aspect of college sports teaches life lessons. We have, as an athletics administrator on a college campus, so many employers come to us and say, do you have people with these skill sets, right? And a lot of our athletes do, and they're looking for a workforce of people and young people that have developed those skills and can be self-starters and can be motivators and etc. And so that's why we've got this pipeline of sorts that people often come to athletics. I think the world that we live in today is changing far greater and far faster than we ever have known it in the history of, what we know the NCAA to be and our member institutions up until this point. And so I think that with due diligence and with very purposeful conversations and action and thoughtful approaches, we're going to navigate through these choppy waters right now. But we might not look the same coming out at the other end, and that's okay, because I think our greatest asset in this is to be nimble and to be flexible with the world that's changing around us, to keep the health and safety of our student athletes at the forefront, but also to ensure that we're doing things for the right reasons and that we're keeping, the lives of our young people at the forefront and moving forward with that in mind. So why D3? There's a tagline that we often use in Division III for quite some time. I think that people don't fully understand the essence of Division III until they've been immersed in it. I'm biased. I came up as a student athlete in Division III. I've worked for Division III institutions, and it's about the people, right? It's about people that are there for the right reasons, that aren't, their priorities are academics first and the balance of being a student athlete, but also having a life that is involved in community, whether that be in jobs or internships, whether that be in community service, but really to have a very robust lens of that collegiate experience. And I think I know that's what was important to me, I wanted to do a lot of different things in addition to sport. And that was a platform and an opportunity that allowed for me, and I see that day to day in our young people that want to do a little bit of everything, but really find sport important and want to continue in that discipline and continue to hone their craft and learn those life lessons and compete at a high level. And Division III allows them that opportunity. The Pathway program really, it's a boot camp for being an athletic administrator, and I didn't know what I didn't know. And that really changed my life. Not only the people that I went through that program with are lifelong friends still to this day. I've had administrators that I've worked with that are now in the program or have gone through the program, and it just makes my heart so happy to see what opportunities that they're gonna have, because I know what it did for my life. I go back and I still look at notes and draw on those very powerful experiences. But I think the aspect of such a small cohort model that is a year-long experiential environment really allows colleagues to be vulnerable, and it allows us to understand our differences. But then that's also what makes those relationships so strong to go back to and say, hey, I don't know how to navigate through this. Have you ever done this? And I know in confidence I have people I can trust, because it's pretty lonely at the top when you get to that chair. And that program I owe so much to, because it would not have prepared me for the chair that I sit in today if I had not gone through the Pathway program. The event today is really a great opportunity to set aside those competitive differences, but also to learn from each other. I think as women, we often don't do that enough and celebrate each other and learn from each other, because it's always we got to one-up somebody, or looking at a record, or there's something festering from previous years or the last contest and matchup. But really, I think that this environment is so special because we lean on each other and we learn from each other and celebrate each other. But sometimes it takes these moments to stop and realize how powerful the room is with the colleagues that you have in the room and the experience and the life lessons, to say this is pretty cool. And so I love this opportunity because it allows me to give back in what I've learned, but it also allows me to learn and have takeaways from the people that are participating today to say, how can we make each other better? The programming that leadership development offers at the NCAA is really a great opportunity for people of all different levels and all different experiences to tap into, to try to level up in what's next. It also opens doors to figure out what might be possible, what other aspects of sport and administration or coaching might be available that they might not have been exposed to. But it also allows for representation and building pipelines for people that might not always have the opportunity, whether it be in ethnic minorities, whether it be by gender. And so those opportunities I'm grateful for and being a product of through leadership development and what the NCAA offers and pours into us as members to help us step up our game. Great question. I feel like students ask me this often. So what I tell young people that want to get in this industry is use the title of student to your advantage, right? Before you need that job, to build your network, to have a cup of coffee with somebody, to pick somebody's brain, but to be respectful of their time, right? To be prepared with when you have the opportunity to sit down with somebody, What are those questions? What do you want to get out of it? Because people's lives are busy. Write thank you notes. I'm a sucker for handwritten thank you notes. I love that. It's a lost art. But in that same breath, right, it's okay to not know exactly what you want to do. I didn't know I wanted to be an athletic director until I was 30-something years old. And I ended up here and I love it, right? And it's changed my career path. And so I think it's being intentional about the relationships and the network, and really asking for help before you need it.